This question kind of sums up a lot of the commentary that we get, whether it's to direct messages or comments. But the question is, how can we talk about children's rights in messy family situations without blowing up already fragile relationships?
Very challenging. And honestly, I think every one of us that believes that children have a right to life and that children have a right to their mother and father can think of someone or some dozen of people that we know that we think, oh, if I said that out loud, they would be so angry. Or, oh, if I ever posted this on Facebook, I think they would unfriend me. Or, wow, if I said this at Thanksgiving dinner, they would stand up, walk away, and say, I'm leaving. And so all of us have to figure this out. So there's definitely some. Um, principles that we can apply because the situation on the ground is going to be different. But I would say two main things come to my mind. The first one is know what you're talking about. Like before you can just voice an opinion. All of us have opinions, but if your opinion is grounded in good research, in the stories of children that are actually affected by a lot of these different decisions or technology or cultural trends, you're going to have a better chance of when you do speak up, saying the right thing, and then being able to stand firm when somebody challenges that. So you should be an expert on why marriage is a matter of justice for children. You should know more than anyone else how divorce impacts kids. You should know the ethical implications and the harm that come to children through reproductive technologies. You should understand the difference between surrogacy and adoption. You should understand like why mothers and fathers offer distinct and complementary benefits to children. You should know all of that. And the good news is we can help you. We will make you an expert. Our very first book, Them Before Us, Why We Need a Global Children's Rights Movement, is the manual that you need to be able to speak up with confidence on all of those different issues. But the second one I would say is I don't tend to start those conversations, but I do finish them. Like if somebody brings something up or they ask a question, I even though I can be really nervous about saying the truth that I think might upset them, if they ask, I will answer. So I think that that's better heard than simply kind of busting in and say, let me tell you my opinion about surrogacy. Better for them to say, oh yeah, a friend of mine just decided that she was going to serve as a surrogate for a gay couple down the street. And I think it's a beautiful gift of life. What do you think? Well, that's when you have a chance to really speak some child-centric truth in a way that has a chance of being heard. Jen, you are, I think, a master of dishing out truth in a way that is impersonal. Like you're not needling them and saying, you. You do a great job of bringing it back to first principles. So I'd love to hear your answer to this question.
You would never say that I was a mistress of doing it, a master of
You
it.
are a master.
Yeah, let's see. I think I was thinking about the idea of, you kind of build as much relational capital as you can and all the other things. You're showing up at your nieces and nephews' baseball games. You're giving the birthday present to the brother-in-law. And you're really trying to show love in all the non-controversial ways that you can to kind of have something to withdraw from when there are issues and conversations that need to be had about these other things. And actually, it's interesting because sometimes I get critiqued for being too impersonal
Hmm.
in the sense of I want to break it down to like, let me just hit you with the data and the facts instead of let me try to really listen and hear where that person's coming from. And I think understanding worldview is a really big deal. We come from a Christian worldview. I have certain beliefs, but if we go into a conversation just assuming we're on the same page about all these major underlying things, you can just bang your heads against each other and never figure out why we disagree. And I think asking questions about, when do you think life begins? What do you think it means to be a human? Are human and person different? And then expressing how you think about that differently gives you a great place to launch from when it comes to those right to life questions, right to mom and dad. So it's sometimes we need to add in more of the personal connection and really show you care and are listening to someone instead of just hitting with facts. I'm going to be straight faced. And, I have someone who said, you could beat me in any kind of debate ever. I don't doubt that at all, but it doesn't necessarily make it easy to talk to me about a topic. So I was like, okay, that's really good feedback. Like, I want to make sure I'm balancing that well.
What is this? One of the pastors that was at one of the first churches. I know we've said this a million times, but people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Mhm.
Great rule of thumb. Like if you're going to have to say hard things and you want to preserve the relationship, if you don't want to preserve the relationship and you just want to trash them, hey, you don't need this advice. But if you do want to preserve the relationship because you recognize that winning the person might be more important than winning the argument, then you want to lead with compassion, care, service, and sacrifice.